Cheol-soo sat at the railway station, clutching a few notes in his hands. Nearby, a disheveled man approached him, asking to borrow a lighter for his cigarette. Curiously, the man inquired if Cheol-soo knew what he was waiting for, then began to ramble to himself, as if sharing profound insights about the meaning of life. Cheol-soo, however, was simply waiting for someone to accompany him on his life's journey. Meanwhile, Soo-jin, the daughter of a wealthy family, had always been pampered by her parents, which contributed to her rebellious nature. Despite her comfortable life, she often found herself forgetful. In a parallel scene, she stood at the same station as Cheol-soo, nervously glancing at her watch while holding 2 tickets. Anxiety washed over her as the last train departed, forcing her to confront the harsh reality that her plans to elope with her boyfriend had fallen apart when he left her. Feeling dejected, Soo-jin wandered into a convenience store to buy a Coke. After making her purchase, she stepped outside only to realize she had forgotten the drink. When she returned, she discovered that her Coke was missing. To her surprise, a man who appeared to be homeless stood before her, holding a can of Coke. Assuming he had taken hers, she snatched the can from him, took a swig, and belched defiantly before turning away to catch a bus. It was only once she boarded the bus that she noticed her purse was missing, likely left behind in the convenience store. Soo-jin found herself needing to return to the convenience store to locate the cashier. Upon her arrival, the cashier pulled out a woman's wallet and a Coke from behind the counter. In that moment, Soo-jin realized she had misjudged the homeless man, Cheol-soo. The following day, she started her new job, but as soon as she entered the office, her new colleagues began to gossip, labeling her as the reason for someone else's breakup. They accused Soo-jin, unaware that she too had been deceived by the man and was a victim in the situation. One day, issues arose with the renovations at her workplace, prompting her father to arrange for assistance. Coincidentally, Cheol-soo, who was working on her father's construction site, was sent to help. Seeing him again stirred a sense of guilt in Soo-jin, but he appeared unfazed and calm. During a break, when Soo-jin went to the vending machine for a Coke, Cheol-soo unexpectedly snatched it from her. After taking a sip, he hiccuped in front of her, which made her chuckle later that evening as she reflected on the incident. As she was heading home, a motorcycle sped by and snatched her handbag. Cheol-soo, who was ahead of her, noticed the theft in his rearview mirror. Without hesitation, he jumped out of the car, knowing the thief wouldn't have time to escape. The man collided with the car door and fell, allowing Soo-jin to retrieve her handbag, which Cheol-soo had secured. He then offered her a ride home, and as the evening breeze enveloped them, a quiet spark of love began to blossom between them. Soo-jin started to enhance her appearance, applying lipstick and mascara, hoping to run into Cheol-soo by chance. He was at a table with friends, skillfully carving a female figure from wood. Seizing the moment, she joined him with her friends and took a seat beside him. Cheol-soo poured her a glass of wine and playfully suggested that after she finished it, they would officially become a couple. However, as Soo-jin sipped, the wine slipped from her lips, and Cheol-soo quickly leaned in to help her clean up, sealing the moment with a kiss. From that day forward, they embraced life together, their love blossoming despite their differing social standings. They began dating regularly, with Cheol-soo teaching Soo-jin how to play baseball. To bridge the gap in their social statuses, he earned an architecture certificate, while Soo-jin lovingly crafted suits for him by hand. Their time together was filled with joy and mutual influence. After a while, Soo-jin felt ready to marry Cheol-soo, and her father expressed a desire to meet her boyfriend. However, Cheol-soo hesitated, feeling unworthy of Soo-jin, whom he viewed as a princess. Despite Soo-jin's efforts to convince him, he remained firm in his decision. Determined, she planned a meeting with her parents without Cheol-soo's knowledge. One evening, while they were dining, her parents unexpectedly arrived at the same restaurant and spotted Cheol-soo. Soo-jin excused herself to the restroom, leaving her father looking a bit downcast. He struggled to accept that a construction worker could be his son-in-law, so he spoke candidly to Cheol-soo about his feelings. Meanwhile, Soo-jin emerged from the bathroom, her mind blank about why she had gone in the first place. As she stepped outside the restaurant, she suddenly fainted. Cheol-soo rushed to her side in the rain and took her to the hospital. Thankfully, her condition was not serious, though she was found to be slightly anemic. When Soo-jin regained consciousness, she embraced Cheol-soo tightly, a sight that did not go unnoticed by her father. Despite his reservations about Cheol-soo, he couldn't bear the thought of his daughter losing someone who genuinely cared for her. Ultimately, he gave his blessing for their marriage. Soon after, Soo-jin and Cheol-soo tied the knot, and their bond grew even stronger. Cheol-soo enjoyed a joyful marriage and saw his career flourish, landing his first design project. Although he felt nervous during the presentation, he found his composure, especially when he touched the cufflink his wife had sewn for him. In the end, his design won the bid, and the contract was signed, bringing happiness to the couple. Over time, Soo-jin's father began to appreciate Cheol-soo's dedication and drive. Cheol-soo then decided to use his earnings to build a home for himself and Soo-jin. However, that day, an unexpected visitor arrived at his office, his mother, who had abandoned him in his youth. She was back, burdened with a massive debt. Cheol-soo felt no forgiveness for her past actions and refused to help with her financial troubles. Soo-jin, unaware of this family history, recalled a drawer that Cheol-soo had always kept locked away from her. Late at night, she quietly opened the box and discovered a hidden truth. Her mother-in-law had once been imprisoned due to an unpaid debt. At just 17, she had given birth to Cheol-soo, likely struggling to care for him as a teenager. Soo-jin wished to help her husband release the bitterness he held and embrace this family member. Ultimately, she managed to mend the rift between Cheol-soo and his mother. Cheol-soo used all his savings to settle the debt, which brought them back to their previous circumstances. Soo-jin offered comfort to Cheol-soo, bringing him joy. Her empathy allowed him to feel at ease, and he embraced her, grateful for her love. However, fate had other plans. As their bond deepened, Soo-jin's memory issues worsened. It wasn't until the annual medical examination that she learned she had Alzheimer's disease, a condition that would gradually erase her memories. Overwhelmed with sorrow, she feared losing her family and Cheol-soo. In the days that followed, she resigned from her job, choosing to spend her remaining time with him. Cheol-soo initially thought his wife was merely forgetful. But one day, when he noticed her lunchbox contained only plain rice, he sensed something was amiss. Concerned, he consulted a doctor and uncovered the harsh reality. In a different moment, Soo-jin wandered the streets, lost and confused, and unexpectedly encountered her ex-boyfriend, mistakenly believing they were still together. After reaching for his hand, she felt something was off and quickly withdrew. Later that night, Cheol-soo found Soo-jin at the baseball field where they once shared joyful moments. She confided in him about the eraser in her mind, expressing her fear of forgetting him and her desire to end their relationship. Cheol-soo held a firm belief that nothing could tear them apart, despite the challenges they faced. In an effort to help his wife remember, he scattered notepads throughout their home. Unfortunately, Soo-jin's condition continued to decline, leading to moments of incontinence that embarrassed her in front of family. Yet, Cheol-soo remained steadfast, cradling Soo-jin in his arms and using his own clothes to assist her. One day, as he was about to leave for work, Soo-jin stopped him to express her deep love, but in a moment of confusion, she called out her ex-boyfriend's name. This left Cheol-soo heartbroken, but he still offered her comfort. Later, while Cheol-soo was away, Soo-jin spotted a photo on a cupboard and suddenly remembered that her husband was Cheol-soo. However, she was painfully aware of the hurt she had caused him. When Cheol-soo returned home, he found the house empty except for a letter on the table. In a bid to free him from their painful existence, Sujin had left a signed divorce letter. Time passed, and Cheol-soo received another letter from Sujin. Following the address provided, he sought her out, only to discover that she no longer remembered him. Undeterred, he took her to the convenience store where they had first crossed paths. Surrounded by familiar faces, Sujin began to recall fragments of her past, tears streaming down her face as memories flooded back. In that moment of clarity, she asked Cheol-soo, "Is this heaven?" As they left the store together, it signified Cheol-soo's commitment to help her remember, even as she faced the daily struggle of forgetting, and to rekindle their love anew.